Under the burning sun of rural America, wild boars wander freely, fearless, destructive, and unstoppable. They don't back down from humans or loud noises, and fences can't hold them back. With crops in danger and farms under attack, farmers are grabbing rifles and setting traps instead of doing nothing. This isn't just hunting, it's a battle to survive. In Texas, Mr. John wasn't a hunter by trade. He was a simple farmer. But when wild hogs ruined nearly half his corn crop in just 7 days, he had to step up and defend his land. Night after night, he climbed into his watchtower, gripping his rifle, eyes locked on the infrared camera screen. For him, every shot was a way to protect his hard-earned harvest. Wild hogs reproduce at an incredibly fast rate, up to 2 litters per year, with each litter having 4 to 12 piglets. They're intelligent, highly mobile at night, and often attack in groups. They know how to avoid traps, stay away from lights, and move through rough terrain like seasoned warriors of the forest. That's why the most effective last resort is organized hunting. Hog hunting today is no longer about flashlights and old rifles. Professional hunting teams now use AR-15 rifles with thermal scopes, high-powered LED lights, remote-control drones, and smart trap systems operated through mobile apps. A full ambush might only take a few minutes, but it requires hours of tracking, route analysis, and perfectly still winds. In Texas, the sight of a helicopter flying low over open fields with a hunter shooting from above is nothing unusual. This method is incredibly effective for controlling large populations of wild hogs, especially in areas too vast for trapping or ground ambush. However, the cost of helicopter hunting can reach thousands of dollars per hour. For some, wild hog hunting is a thrilling sport, the adrenaline rush of stalking, aiming, and taking down the prey. But for farmers, it's a constant nightmare. So where is the line between sport and crop protection? In many US states, hog hunting is allowed year-round with no bag limits, encouraging the public to help control the population. Wild boars don't just damage crops, they also attack livestock, pet dogs, and sometimes even people. There have been cases of serious injuries from boar charges while walking in the woods. In suburban areas, security cameras have captured footage of wild boars rummaging through trash bins, causing traffic accidents, and intruding into residential neighborhoods. Many small towns in the US have organized hunter task forces, volunteer hunters who operate at night. They take shifts, divide territories, use GPS trackers, and share real-time data. They don't do it for money. They do it out of a sense of duty to protect their community and the land they call home. But not everyone agrees with hunting. Some animal protection organizations argue that biological solutions should be explored instead of killing. They raise an important question: are wild boars choosing to destroy, or simply acting on instinct? Where is the line between population control and unchecked slaughter? Today, wild boar hunting is no longer a risky, solitary act. With motion sensors, mobile alerts, heat maps, and artificial intelligence, farmers can now detect and take action before an entire herd has the chance to destroy their fields. One autumn night, Mr. John climbed back up to the watchtower. On the screen, the shadowy figures of a herd of boars appeared, drawing closer. He gripped his rifle tightly. One shot, then another. That night, he saved 10 acres of land from being trampled. But by morning, he knew the battle was far from over. Nature isn't cruel, it's indifferent. Wild boars don't know they're causing destruction, they're simply trying to survive. And if humans want to continue living alongside nature, they must learn to combine technology, courage, and awareness. Hunting, when guided by ethics and science, isn't violence. It's a way to preserve balance. Like this video, if you support the farmers working day and night to protect their land. In Australia, it's not just wild boars that cause serious damage. Feral goats have become one of the most dangerous invasive species in the country. Originally brought over by European settlers in the 18th century for milk and meat, they quickly multiplied once released into the wild and began destroying native ecosystems. Unlike wild boars, feral goats can climb and strip vegetation from both low and high levels. They devastate grasslands, contribute to soil erosion, and compete with native animals like kangaroos and wallabies for food. The Australian government spends millions of dollars each year to control feral goats through hunting, trapping, and even aerial shooting from helicopters. However, hunting feral goats also presents economic opportunities. In some regions, legal feral goat hunting tourism has been developed as a way to both control the population and generate income for local communities. Additionally, Feral goat meat is highly valued for its lean, firm texture, making it a sought-after export product in the Middle East and Asia. Goat hides are also used in the fashion and handicraft industries. In the fight against invasive species like wild boars and feral goats, local people, especially farmers, hunters, and indigenous communities, are the frontline defenders. They are not only the ones directly affected by the economic damage, but also the ones with the practical experience and local knowledge needed to respond effectively to the problem. In Australia, indigenous communities play a key role in monitoring and controlling feral goats by combining traditional knowledge with modern technology. Regularly organized hunting campaigns aim not only to protect the land, but also to support the long-term restoration of the ecosystem. But the final question remains: can we truly wipe out invasive species like wild boars or feral goats? The answer is probably no, at least not in the near future. However, instead of trying to completely eradicate them, many experts believe we should aim for a sustainable balance. That balance lies in controlling population numbers through humane methods, leveraging economic value from legal hunting, and restoring ecosystems by reforesting, protecting water sources, and creating buffer zones for native wildlife. Because in the end, whether it's wild boars or feral goats, they are ultimately the result of human-driven environmental intrusion and change. The solution isn't just about elimination, but about how we choose to live more harmoniously and responsibly with nature. Nature is always in motion, and humans aren't always in control. Wild boars and feral goats don't recognize the boundaries of farmland, nor do they understand the value of a precious crop, but they exist. They multiply, and at times, they become disasters. The farmer's battle isn't just with the land, the weather, or pests. It's also with forces that seem beyond anyone's control. Yet in that journey, we witness persistence, creativity, and an unconditional love for Mother Earth. From Texas to the remote corners of Australia, every footprint in the soil marks a struggle not to conquer nature, but to coexist with it in a more responsible and sustainable way. You may have never faced a herd of wild boars in your life, but you'd understand the pain of losing an entire season's harvest if you've ever poured your heart into something only to see it destroyed overnight. And that's exactly why we share stories like this. From invasive wild boars destroying crops, we face a new threat: aggressive invasive baboons, always stalking their prey. Deep in the forests of South Africa, you remain unaware of the danger silently stalking your every step. The chacma baboon, an invasive species with sharp teeth and the ability to move at incredible speed, could be waiting. These baboons share 91% of their DNA with humans, making them not only intelligent, but also very dangerous. Their diet mainly consists of fruits, and they are always hungry, relentlessly searching for food. If you have food with you, don't be surprised if they try to snatch it from you. If you react, the situation could quickly escalate into a fight for survival. The only reaction when approached is to avoid eye contact, not bare your teeth, drop something, and slowly back away. In wildlife reserves, they have begun training farmers and tourists on the baboon survival rule. Hunting chacma baboons may sound barbaric, but for many communities in South Africa, it is the only way to survive. When facing a chacma baboon, experienced hunters are the ones who protect you. However, even experts can make mistakes if they are not well prepared. The defense barriers for hunters typically range from 1.8 to 2.4 meters high, enough to shield and protect against attacks. Although they cost between $100, they become a crucial investment for those involved in hunting in Africa. But the biggest question remains: are humans the cause of this problem? Are we benefiting from invading this wilderness? Or are we the ones paying the heavy price for our decisions? Hunting a baboon requires more than courage. It demands a big game hunting permit. Before heading out, hunters double-check their Winchester .308 or H&H Magnum .375 rifles, powerful enough to take down a baboon with a single, precise shot. Accuracy is crucial. One mistake could send the hunter to the hospital. Baboons move in packs, and an injured one could signal a frantic counterattack. There's no room for error in this life-or-death battle, where only precision and survival instincts keep the hunter alive. After obtaining the big game hunting permit, the hunter doesn't rush to strike. Instead, they prepare a special bait, meticulously crafted from corn, gelatin, and fermented fruit. This mixture not only has a tempting aroma, but is incredibly effective at luring the baboon, a creature highly sensitive to smells. The hunter patiently places the bait in the perfect spot, embracing absolute silence, leaving only a tense waiting game. The bait is set, but the decisive moment only comes when the baboon, intrigued, approaches, drawn in by the unfamiliar, intoxicating scent. The tension is palpable as the hunter holds their breath, watching every movement of the prey. Each arrow drawn, each pull of the bow could be a life or death turning point, not just for the baboon, but for the hunter's very survival. One mistake, a single lapse in focus, could cause everything to fall apart, from the cunning baboon to the hunter, who is playing a life and death game with himself. There's more than just hunting to deal with invasive species. Some suggest sterilization as another option. It lowers animal numbers without killing them. But this approach needs government support and is expensive. While it might work for now, it's unclear if it can fully replace hunting, especially for fast-breeding species. Hunting, despite the debate, is still the fastest and most direct way to keep these populations in check. So, will sterilization fix the problem completely? Or are we stuck in this endless battle? The truth is, we don't know yet. Can we ever find a real way to control these invaders without compromising our ethics?